3, 2, 1.
We'd like to welcome you to another edition of Grok Talk, brought to you by New Hampshire's leading conservative blog site, GraniteGrok.com. We are your feared extremist, right-wing, hard-charging, gun-toting, opinionated, outspoken, rabble-rousing, letter-writing, radio microphone stomping conservatives and rational libertarians. So get ready for more news and opinion you could only get from GraniteGrok.com.
Grok Talk.
I was listening to the show last week, which we did live from the Coalition of New Hampshire Taxpayers Family Reunion, Taxpayer Picnic, and I was listening to myself go, and I'm like, oh my god. Welcome to Grok Talk. We're going to try to reduce the number of ums if we can, but we'll do that, hopefully. You're not turned up yet, see, because I have all these buttons.
You have the master controls.
I do. I have the master controls.
So that would be Grok Mumble?
Grok Mumble. Grok Our guests today, we are expecting Max Abramson, Kevin Bloom, Mike Ferris, who's going to join us to talk about the SCOTUS same-sex marriage, and Lawrence McQuillan. He has a book out about the pension problem. And we're going to talk to him about that. I'm getting an echo. I'm feedbacking somewhere. Where's that coming from?
Do you have your audio on?
Somewhere I'm picking it up.
Mike?
Don't think so.
And I wonder where it's coming from. You hear it? Do you hear it, ladies and gentlemen? Do you hear it on Facebook or Twitter? Do you hear it on iTunes, iHeart, Spreaker, TuneIn, or Stitcher? Hey, by the way, while we try to figure out what that is, since we took all the equipment and brought it all back and hooked it all up, and it was all working great until just now, you can go to Patreon, patreon.com/Grok Talk, and support this program. It's our latest way to help you, help us.
I can hear the music very faintly in the background.
We'll keep checking it out. Anyway, I'm going to work on that for a couple seconds. You gentlemen start talking until Max gets here.
Absolutely.
And there's plenty to talk about. A lot of things happening nationally and locally, as usual.
Let's go hyper-local for right now, because Steve beat me to... We're in Concord, New Hampshire, and they've now finished half of their roadway redo. So
Main Street, yeah.
Yeah, so Steve has already pulled in and got out of his car, so I rolled my window down because I was across the street at the red light, called out to him, Steve! And when I did, I saw this little painting on the brand new black tar. Mm-hmm. And as I pulled in next to him, I went, bike lane. Right. I am just waiting to see what's going to happen, because if they're declaring that the cars and semis and big trucks that go through here, they have left so little room between the end of the slanted parking for cars and what's going to be the median strip, and they put this bike signal on, or bike symbol on there.
Bike path symbol, yeah.
Yeah, it's like usually a bike path, it's a dedicated set of space for it. Now they're saying you will share the road with the bikes, and I'm thinking I can't wait for this thing to happen, because
it's essentially you can't have northbound heavy vehicles up Main Street. They're going to have to go around Stores Drive, because there's just not enough width there. As it is, by restricting it to 1 and a bit lanes plus parking, anytime anybody reverses out of a parking slot, the entire travel lane will stop. It's going to become non-viable for through traffic and too much trouble for anybody to come to the shops. I wouldn't.
Well, here's the deal. This is typical of the Sustainable Communities Initiative by HUD, EPA, and DOT, and the Concord folks fell for it full line and sinker with their professional planners. And
the shopkeepers here should have asked the shopkeepers in Nashua before they let them do it, because I can tell you the shopkeepers in Nashua are going under.
Yeah, and I saw the same. Been watching the same thing for a couple of decades up in Laconia after they did their urban redevelopment, which made it a whole walkable area, and it never has recovered. I mean, it comes in waves. The storefronts sit empty for a while. Some people move in. They start to open up new shops, and then a couple of years later they go out of business, because what the planners don't seem to understand is that nobody lives downtown. I don't think people want to live, quote-unquote, downtown for the most part. They want to live where the perfect clown car time.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to make it convenient for people from out of town, oh, we have a parking lot 3 blocks away. That's convenient enough. I'm sorry, if I'm carrying a bag, I mean, these guys don't get it. This is the instant now, no inconvenience generation. And if you're not going to do that, for out-of-towners, people don't care to come.
There's two ways to use the main street. If you want to walk around, enjoy the ambience, have a drink, go get a meal, walk around some more, you don't mind parking in the parking garage. If you want to get something, whether it be fragile or heavy or just bulky, from a store and leave, you want to park outside that store, get it, and go. And if you can't, you won't come.
Yeah, I guess central planners hate men because men hate shopping
Yeah.
for the most part. When I go shopping, here's my list. I know exactly where to get it. I even know the aisles in the grocery store where each item is. I know what I want. I want to spend the least amount of time getting in, getting it, getting out my money, paying for it, and getting out the door and getting home.
It's why, for example, I hate the southern part of Daniel Webster Highway in Nashua, because it's all about getting in and out of various strip malls and then the shopping mall at the end. And it's backed up the entire shopping day, and I don't go there if it's shopping hours.
Yeah.
This is interesting because I go to Market Basket and I shop there regularly, and I go and I have a list, and I actually have my list, and the list is where the stuff is in the store.
Oh, I don't get
So
that
it's layered across
organized.
it. So I just go and I go get it, and I leave. And sometimes I'll grab maybe one or two other things if I happen to remember that I need them while I'm there. So I was there in the bread aisle, which was packed with people, and a gentleman says, I don't know why, he was talking to us, I don't know why we both come here together. We always end up spending twice as much money. I just started laughing because it's true. Because when I bring my wife with me, we end up buying all this other stuff. And it's not just her, it's me too. It's like together, it's like squared. It's shopping squared.
Logarithmic, you get more than twice.
We go in to buy $50 worth of stuff and we leave with $150 or something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So anyway, Max has joined us. Good morning, sir. Hang on, we'll get your headset all set
It's
up.
Big Max.
Max joins us today. The subject may have changed because we arranged this several weeks ago, but you had mentioned something about the dumbest law in New Hampshire.
Well, we have a contest for school-age kids and college students in New Hampshire called New Hampshire's Dumbest Law. And at first we thought we'd find 3 or 4 really silly, outdated, ridiculous laws that don't make any sense, may have been passed over 100 years ago. And, of course, the contest is to find what is the most ridiculous, dumbest, most outdated, nonsensical law that just makes you laugh or scratch your head and wonder what were they thinking. And we've heard from quite a few people. Of course, the deadline is September 15th because the deadline for submitting LSRs is September 18th.
Didn't anybody mention the hands-free law just right out of the gate?
Yes, a few people have mentioned that. It might be a little soon to repeal or work on that. However, some people have noticed that if your GPS goes off and has one of those yes/no questions while you're parked at a stoplight, that a cop can still fine you just for pushing the yes/no button. So that's, whether that was the legislature's intent or not, that truly is a ridiculous law.
And I noticed that in the paper, sorry, Steve.
Oh, go ahead.
In the paper, the first car accident that came up,
Hold my thought.
okay, was not a distracted driver because of texting or calling or talking, but coffee and a radio.
Well, I was thinking about this morning. Now, the only time I conveniently have just had to purchase a new vehicle because the motor on my Honda Accord died. It was 16 years old, so that stuff happens. So I get a new car. It's 2013. It's not new. It's new to me, but it has hands-free in it. So I'm like, oh, well, that's good timing because the law starts in a week, and so that worked out. I've been trying to set it up, so I'm okay with that. But then when we went to CNHT, I used Google Maps on my phone, which I couldn't touch, to check while I was driving. So I had to pull over, stop, do my thing, and then go again to make sure because I don't go there very often. I go to Hillsborough once a year for the CNHT picnic. That's it. So I'm in the drive-thru getting coffee on my way here, and I'm pulling up to the little speaker, and so I order my coffee, and as I'm going around the corner, I'm pulling up, I'm getting my wallet out, steering with my knee, finding my Dunkin' Donuts card, da-da-da-da-da, and I'm not in traffic or anything. I'm just right there. But if I could do that, if I just touched my phone and there was a cop there, he'd write me a ticket or at least give me a warning. It's ridiculous.
Oh, he shouldn't be able to do that on the private property of Dunkin' Donuts.
Well, this is an example. I mean, if I was doing it in before I turned in to get to the Dunkin' Donuts,
yeah, it's possible.
regardless of whether or not I felt capable of making that decision on my own safely, which I did, It's just crazy.
Well, people make decisions every day when it's safe to pick up the phone, pick up the microphone, tap a key on something. The policemen do it millions, multiple times per day because they've got their radio, probably their cell phone as well, their laptop-type terminal, and they use all of this stuff, and most of them manage not to hit anything.
I know because my company sells that stuff to the police. We do.
Right.
And you look inside the police cruiser, and it's a Knight Rider plus a laptop.
Yeah.
And they think that we're incompetent to use a subset of that.
So did we get any other?
Yes or no? Oh my goodness. Well, the requirement for a submission is you have to be going to school or school-age kid. Homeschooled kids are okay. College students are okay, any age. You have to list either the law or the RSA so that we can find it. Because if you go to legislative services and you just say, can you repeal some law, they might not be able to find the law. So we have to know what it is, and you have to give a reason why you want that law repealed. So there are a number of websites and there are a number of forums where people have brought things up, but they've been submitting more and more ridiculous laws to the Facebook page, New Hampshire's Dumbest Law. And some of my favorites, my personal favorite, is it's against the law, New Hampshire, to put on a puppet show for money or promote any other public competition without a license from the selectmen of the town. So Dave Ridley, who does Ridley Report,
correct,
did
which you all should be checking out if you're not.
He's very funny. He put on a puppet show in public in front of the State House as civil disobedience to show that it's illegal to do a puppet show in public. Now, I don't know if they've repealed. It looks like they didn't repeal that law, but I guess there was a.
That is funny, though.
There was not a bill, but an effort to put in a bill that never went anywhere. But it's one of those ridiculous rules that makes no sense. I'm sure there was a reason for it. Someone mentioned the use of milk containers. Nowadays, we recycle our milk containers and reuse, and we're all into the environmental thing. But RSA 184, Section 30-D says, no milk and milk product container shall be used as a receptacle for any substance other than dairy products. Now, this was passed in 1907, has been modified again and
Skip
again.
and I look at each other.
Okay.
Back in the days when you had these small glass,
Bottles,
thick glass containers.
Oh yeah, we used to.
And those were reused for milk.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can understand where you wouldn't want somebody storing kerosene in it and then thinking, oh, that's a milk bottle, let's put milk in it.
Yeah. No, I remember getting the home milk delivery when I was young. Every Thursday morning, there's the bottles of milk.
We didn't, but I had neighbors who had the milk box.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And there's a law that says that it has to be pasteurized. Milk has to be pasteurized. You can't have raw milk, except that there's a little exception in there for raw milk. If you advertise it in your business as raw milk.
That's pasteurized milk.
Right.
That's the site for pasteurized milk.
Yeah.
I don't know
he
very
said
many.
pasteurized milk, and Steve's doing like this. I'm going.
Pasteurized milk. That's what that is.
The virtual cow. Sorry, Max.
Radio listeners probably aren't going to get that one.
The video ones will.
I'm milking a cow past my eyes. So anyway.
Sunday work. We have RSA 332 Section D, which are all of the blue laws, things that you can't do on Sunday. You can't operate heavy machinery on Sunday. There are a whole number of things that you can't do. Well, contrary to what the Bible says, the RSA say no person shall engage in any play, game, or sport on that day.
Which has to include puppet shows.
Well, what do you mean contra the Bible? The
Bible says that's your day of relaxation and rest and enjoyment, and you're supposed to honor the Sabbath.
Yeah, but if you go back in history, and the best example of the Orthodox Jews who hold firmly to this, there is to be no work whatsoever. Mm-hmm. It is supposed to be a day of relaxation and contemplation. Mm-hmm. So causing someone to work on your behalf.
And no contemplating work either for that matter.
I mean, it was very much not a time to go out and have a whole lot of fun. I mean, it was basically doing nothing.
Okay, we're going to take a short break. and then we're going to come back and have some more fun with these crazy laws. Stay tuned.